Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank Alice for waving. The only one to wave. Did he want to throw himself?
Yeah.
Oh, over there.
So my name is Nia,
My name is Jaime.
and we created a Covert channel through Reddit. Now we did this for our Covert Communications class last semester. That class is available this upcoming fall. I would highly recommend it. And
It's course code CSEC 750.
CSEC 750 is the course code. And just as a quick heads up, we are in the process of submitting this to conferences, so please do not replicate this work. Pretty please.
So, in introduction to this, it's kind of cut off, but people can read. So basically, this is a covert communication channel within Reddit that upvotes different hot posts within specific popular subreddits to convey a secret message. So, some background info. So, we have the terms Reddit versus old Reddit. So, old Reddit is basically like an older version of Reddit with like the old interface and features. So, I think it was like 2019. So, pre-2019, it just looks different. Subreddits are small topic-based communities that users can join based on their interests. Upvoting is a feature that allows Reddit users to basically like a post within a subreddit. It's the same thing as liking. And then a hot post is a currently popular post within a certain subreddit. So, some prerequisites for this covert channel in order to get it working. So the sender and receiver must use old Reddit to enable the public voting. So public voting is an old Reddit feature that allows users to show their upvotes publicly. They don't have to stay within old Reddit. They just have to be in old Reddit to like enable the feature because new Reddit doesn't have the feature anymore. And then the sender and receiver must receive and use Reddit API keys. So let's get started about how it works. So we have the sender on the left, the Reddit medium in the middle, and the receiver on the right. We also have the amount of upvotes that it will upvote. So first, the sender will determine what message they want to send to said receiver. So up there is the message is hi. Then the next step is to add a run length of the transmission length and the reserved ending character to note the end of the message. So basically, this is how we're translating the message to send it to the receiver so the receiver knows what the message is. So the first two letters are AF. So that's basically this run length value in this table on the bottom right. So it's basically just a digit that represents how many characters the receiver will be receiving. So A correlates to 0, and F correlates to 5. So that notes and tells receivers like, okay, you're going to be receiving 5 characters, which includes the message, the run length, transmission length, and the reserving end character. So yeah, so it starts with AF, then it actually says hi, then the transmission, the last character, is one reserved ending character. So basically, we reserved 100 different subreddits to note that whenever the receiver sees an upvote in that specific subreddit, that the message is over. So then it'll go through the 5 different characters and upvote the hot posts within those different subreddits for those letters. So it'll upvote posts in r/Apple, r/Fast, r/Help, r/Images, and r/Jupiter. Those are just examples. Yeah. Any questions so far? Cool. Then that'll send that through Reddit. Then the receiver will have to go to this website, so https://reddit.com with the username of the user, sender/upvoted. So this will be able to show the receiver all the different upvotes that the sender has since they enabled their public voting. So they know the message is done, again, if they see that the last transmitted character is from the list of the reserved end of message subreddits. Then they'll review the name of the subreddit names for the upvoted post to basically see the message. So they're like, okay, well, the first 2, I know that's the beginning. The middle 2 is what I really want, and the last one I could just ignore.
Okay, so for the receipt for this, how does the sender know that the receiver didn't get a bad message? So here we have the transmission. So that's not the actual message. The message itself is hi, just HI. So the receiver determines the length of the message they receive, and they decode the secret message from there. So they say, okay, the run length at the the first two characters, that's not part of the message I ultimately receive. That ending character at the end, that just marks that it's the end of the message. I'll get rid of that. The message is just hi. So now they have to determine how long that message that they received was, and luckily that was 5 characters. That's what we want. So the receiver is going to upvote posts that begin with A and F. Again, that represents 0 and 5 to denote that it is 5 characters long. It will upvote those posts, and then the sender will look at the receiver's public upvotes. And they'll see, okay, they said that they received a message that was 5 characters in length. The transmission that I received that I sent was 5 characters in length. We are all good. So they confirm that the message length is correct by sending another reserved ending character. So again, to be clear, a reserved ending character comes from a list of 100 subreddits that we just set aside, and whenever a post is upvoted in one of those subreddits, we know that upvote is meant to represent the end of a message, or in this case, the confirmation of a receipt. So then the receiver is going to look at the sender's public upvotes, and they're going to say, all right, this receipt was good, and they're going to begin closing out. So the receiver begins closing out by resetting their upvotes, and once the sender sees that the receiver is clearing their upvotes, they know that the receiver got a correct message, and they will clear their own upvotes. So this ends the transaction, and this helps our covert channel because, someone who's looking in has to be there at the time this message is sent, because otherwise it will be deleted afterwards. So
I just want to say that this is kind of like a TCP handshake. So, the SYN, the ACK, the SYN-ACK, whatever. But try to think of it like that.
Yeah. All right, so mapping a message to a transmission. This can get a little complicated. So if you were to send the message, I heart you, this is the transmission that you're actually sending, which looks, quite frankly, bonkers. So we are going to go through it one by one. So these 2 characters at the start of the transmission convey the run length. So this time that is BD, 13 characters. So once the receiver reads those first 2 characters, they can say, okay, I'm expecting to receive a transmission that is 13 characters long. And then these are characters in the transmission that are just sent normally. So I, 3, Y, O, and U. You just upvote posts in subreddits that begin with those letters or numbers. That's pretty straightforward. For spaces, similar to how we described ending characters before, we have a list of 1,000 subreddits set aside that will only represent spaces. So no matter what number or letter those subreddits start with, if a post is upvoted in those subreddits, it will always represent a space. And then special characters. This gets a little bit more complicated. So both the sender and receiver have a JSON file, and that JSON file maps pairs of characters to special characters. So, for example, an AA could be an exclamation mark. An AB could be a question mark. An EA is a greater than sign, less than sign. I got it mixed up. But this is what EA means. So how do we know that we're sending a special character and not just a regular message? So we have another 100 subreddits set aside. And these subreddits will always mean, hey, I'm about to send a special character. The next two upvotes that I do represent a special character. And then the end of the message, that's, again, from the 100 subreddits that we set aside to represent ending message and ends of messages. All right, so going through it again real quick. The first 2 in the transmission are the message length. The ones in pink here are directly transmitted. These right here are for spaces. In blue, that's how special characters are transmitted, and then the last one represents an ending character. All right, so we do have a quick demo of the sender. I would love to do a live demo, but I don't know if you guys have used Reddit before, but there is plenty of content on there I would not want to just randomly pop up on the screen. So this was after many attempts to get a clean version. And I will also say, there will be a bunch of red popping up here, and those are subreddits that were either banned or made private or removed since the creation of the subreddit list that we made. And there aren't as many errors anymore. I took this video a little while ago, but we made a script that went through and removed those subreddits that were bad. Okay, so here I'm running it. I'm sending the message, I heart you. It shows the transmission right here. And you can see it's starting to upvote on posts. You can see the red right here, where those subreddits don't work because they're either private or banned or or have no posts in them. And it's going to do that until it transmits the whole message. Now, I do only have one screen, so I am only going to show the sender for now. But the receiver is going to, once this last character is sent, this final character, they're going to start sending the receipt. The receiver, or the sender, is going to get that receipt and finish up the whole transaction there. Don't read it, please.
We tried. This was one of the ones that didn't have an
say
image.
Normally it's a lot worse than that.
So, for our detection concerns, so Reddit is really concerned about upvote and downvote manipulation. So they call this vote cheating. It's in their rules and regulations guidelines, that 500 page, no, not 500 pages, but like the 10-page document that no one reads. So the Covert channel votes a lot. So after the message is conveyed, we showed before that the votes kind of just zero out. And then it may be less monitored since the rate limits have decreased. Okay. And then, again, the other detection concern is the old Reddit. So again, we're using old Reddit, which is an older, less frequently used version of Reddit, which could be kind of considered odd. But there's a community who fiercely loves and defends the use of old Reddit, like Forrest. We were showing this class in Covert, and Forrest goes, "Did I hear old Reddit?" I might have just summoned him. But yeah, and then the things to work on next. So if we do continue working on this, these are two things that we want to implement. So we definitely want to incorporate scripting into the sender program to see if the message is over 100 characters. So currently we limit this at 100 characters, and this is for the total transmission of the message. So that includes all of the special characters, adding those, the message length, and everything else, and also the end. Yes.
Really quickly, so this 100-character limit for a transmission is self-imposed because we don't want a user of this to send a message that has 10,000 characters, because if one doesn't send in correctly, they have to start the whole thing again. So right now the user has to manually, type in messages in batches of 100-character transmissions, but we're hoping to have this automatically done in the future so that the user doesn't have to manually go in and do that, but that's not something we're super concerned about. It works.
And then the last thing that we want to work on is using like a secret random encryption, maybe like Caesar Cipher. We are thinking something easy to encrypt the message letters and the upvotes of the encrypted subreddits. So basically they're not a one-to-one match like we showed before. So like if someone notices it and it's like, if I could see the message, that's kind of bad. So if we were to able to encrypt it.
But I will say that is also something we're not super concerned about, because if you look back here, that's what the message transmission looks like. I don't think any person would really look at that and think, oh, that's I heart you. They'd think that's just a random string of characters. So,
yep.
Yeah, but these are things that would make it more secure, but aren't like huge concerns of ours. All right. Does anyone have any questions? I'll go back to that one.
I think that's, Do we have an ending slide? Yeah. Yes.
Are you guys rate limited by how fast you're able to upload posts, like in order to keep it like a normal fashion?
So, okay, there's a couple things with that. One, there is rate limiting from Reddit, and that is a fairly new thing. I believe it's in the past year or two, where they've rate limited what the APIs, like how fast they can do queries. But that's not an issue we really ran into because we have to slow down our Covert channel. That video was sped up. We have to slow it down to mimic human behavior, or else we will get caught. You know, if we're just like spamming upvotes or spamming downvotes, we're gonna get our API keys disabled.
Also, we slowed it down so it sends in order, because if we're just like upvote all of these, it can get out of order. And in order to know, knowing the order is really important, especially for the special characters and to reveal the message. Any other questions? Cool. Well, thank you.
Wrap it up. Okay.